Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your hurricane outlook and discussion for the 16th of June, 2016. Not a lot to talk about out there today, as we would expect in the middle part of June. One little area of interest down here. The X is centered over parts of Central America. I'll show you in a moment on the satellite animation the tropical wave that is responsible for this. But as you can see, only a 10% chance of this developing. There's no evidence of a surface circulation right now, and land interaction should keep this in check over the coming days. Here it is right here. Decent tropical wave moving through for sure. Surge of energy coming in from the Atlantic. This tropical wave originated from Africa many days ago, but it looks like the energy will just kind of get dragged across the land here. An increase in shower and thunderstorm activity headed for the Yucatan, including, of course, Cozumel, Cancun, and down towards Belize. Honduras, Nicaragua also getting in on the tropical thunderstorm action. And make no mistake about it, those heavy rain squalls can produce flooding, as we well know. So the presence of only a tropical wave is something to certainly take notice of if you're in the area. And this energy, again, should spread across this region. It might try to develop some, but it should be very limited. And I think the important part, aside from it obviously having an impact down here, is it's not going to be heading up into this area where you do not need any more rainfall at all for the foreseeable future. So that's good news there. Moving over to the Eastern Pacific, area of interest here still exists off the southwest part of Mexico. Mousing over it, we get the information here, 60% chance of cyclone formation over the next 2 days, and that holds true for the next 5 days. Why don't the numbers go up in the 5-day? Well, it looks like, again, as they say here, over the weekend, conditions are forecast to become less conducive for tropical cyclone formation. This region last year was very busy. We would already have been up to the sea storm. I believe it was Carlos by this time last year, and I believe all three of the first named storms in the Eastern Pacific last year were hurricanes. And they haven't even had a named tropical storm yet, and it looks like this system won't make it either. It's got a decent connection down towards the intertropical convergent zone, but this is pretty stable air that you can see in here, as indicated by the very low cloud deck. That tells me that's stable air. No convective activity can really come out of that. And water temperatures in this area are not nearly as warm as they were this time last year. And so it just has been a different kind of season. It's amazing how just from year to year, the variability of tropical cyclone activity can change. And I think it's just a matter of time, more likely late August through September and October, that the Atlantic Basin will probably show its true colors as well. And we'll see again how different things can be from year to year. So when would we expect something to develop? Well, this is a good sort of guide to that. This is the MJO forecast, current analysis in the first frame here. And this is like a comic strip, if you will, like a strip of the tropics, right? And when I say comic strip, you know what I'm talking about. It looks like a film strip. And so we're not looking at the entire globe. It is in Mercator projection, but it's only the tropics we're looking at here. So here would be Central America, etc., Cuba, the Lesser Antilles, there's South America, and there's Africa. And then over in the West Pacific, you have the different islands of the maritime continent region, and India, so forth and so on. There's Africa. So you spread the whole thing out, like I said, like a film strip, and you get to look at it in this little cross-section, so to speak. And what we're seeing here, this brownish color, is sinking motion in the atmosphere, not rising motion, and so it just helps to aid in the non-development of thunderstorm activity over the tropics. And over the next several days, that typically holds true for the next several days, and then maybe relaxing a bit as we get down beyond 10 to 15 days, but that's far out into time. We'll worry about that later. The main point here, as you can see right now, the Atlantic Basin into the Eastern Pacific is in this downward phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation, meaning that there's no upward motion appreciative anyway to help thunderstorms rise vertically and congeal and turn into something. So it's kind of a calm period, which is, again, typical for what we see in June and through July. Pressures are usually at their highest, and so forth and so on. So nothing unusual that I'm seeing that suggests that the season is a dud or anything like that, or that it's going to be more busy than we've ever seen. Whatever. Everything's pretty much status quo the way it should be as far as I can tell. All right? So no threats coming up for the weekend. That's good. And again, even that system off of Mexico, no bother to the resort areas along the Pacific coast of Mexico. So great news there. I'll be back again tomorrow. Again, I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com as always. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it this hot Thursday afternoon. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow before we head into the weekend.